Even women riders were hobbled by the most rigid dress codes, and there was only one way for a true lady to ride: side saddle. I assumed that the Queen was one of the last practitioners of this most ladylike skill, till I heard about the Flying Foxes, a group of women who are seeking to revive the technique, even dressing in period costume. Rider Sian Lowes showed me her moves, while Becca Holland told me more.
She's actually riding my horse Henry this afternoon. He's 14 years old now, a very good side saddle horse, very experienced. He's very comfortable, which is important for a horse, and he's got a very good temperament as well. He puts up with us and all our skirts and hats and things.
And does she hunt side saddle, Sian?
Yeah, absolutely. We all can be seen out on the hunting field. Always side saddle. I always now hunt side saddle. I'd never
Couldn't
hunt
dream
astride.
of doing it another way now.
No, absolutely. To be honest, everyone always says to me, gosh, you're terribly brave going out hunting side saddle. But I actually think it's the other way round. I'd much rather.
But is it safer, or is it? Why is it safer?
To me,
because you fall off one end.
You're far less likely to fall off a side saddle than you are astride. There's very little chance of coming off a side saddle on a good horse, whereas astride there are
I was
lots
always coming off, yeah.
of emergency exits, whereas on one of these you're actually really quite gripped on.
The very first side saddle was designed for Princess Anne of Bohemia in 1382 and was partly intended to safeguard the royal virginity. Riding side saddle soon became associated with proper aristocratic behaviour. And women who continued to ride astride a horse were the subject of bawdy comment. "Pray, sir, is this the way to stretch it?" one cartoon asked. "Shiver me topsails, my lass, if I know a better way."
There was no question of a lady riding with a leg on each side, certainly in the Victorian period. For a start, it was about comfort. Women didn't wear any undergarments at all. Certainly, you know, in ancient Rome and Greece, women didn't wear knickers. And if you're sitting on a horse astride with bare legs, it would actually be really uncomfortable. When we ride today, we wear long leather boots and especially padded trousers to protect your
this
legs.
is a total eye-opener.
But if you're riding a horse with no knickers on, basically sitting with a leg on each side would be quite uncomfortable.
Chafing.
Yeah, and also it's a modesty thing. If you can imagine trying to get on a horse with a big long skirt and no knickers and trying to get your leg over the horse's back.
Or a short skirt and no knickers.
Well, if that's what you like doing,
well,
absolutely.
I mean, let's say a toga.
Yeah. Completely. There's a very good chance of you exposing yourself to all and sundry. So I've explained a little bit about the history, Rachel, but what I would really like to know from you is how do you fancy having a go?
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Are you wearing knickers? Let's go.
Of course, a true lady wouldn't ever be asked that question, but never mind. Time to go the whole side saddle hog and get into costume.
Riding wear, certainly for a side saddle lady, is actually very reminiscent of what men wore in the 18th century. And that's actually quite a theme. A lot of historical riding clothing comes from male fashion. And it's really interesting. Certainly when women were quite often wearing very soft, feminine clothes, when they rode,
domestically,
they weren't soft or feminine at all in any way. And they actually adopted very masculine styles. So now we're going to put your jacket on and we shall do you up.
It's quite hot, isn't it? All this?
Yes. Yeah, no, you will glow a little wearing this, I'm afraid.
The lady only gently glows.
Yes, absolutely. And then last but not least, we've got your top hat. And of course you've got your veil as well there. These originally started off being worn for very practical reasons. When ladies were riding along the road, they would wear a veil to protect their skin from the sun and stop the dirt getting on their faces as well. But nowadays the veil has changed slightly and it's just become a very traditional, formal thing for a woman to wear.
Do you wear this?
Yeah, absolutely. If I was hunting for a day, I'd wear a veil all day. Just because you're not correctly dressed without one. It's just
so weird.
absolutely...
I feel like something out of Spider-Man.
Well, you look incredibly elegant, but you are definitely missing just one more thing at the moment.
A horse?
Yeah, absolutely. We need to go and get you on a horse.
1, 2, 3. Hop. Up you go. Push, push. That's it. Sit on the saddle with your legs over. That's it.
Perfect.
Seamless.
Then
where does that go?
Just put that leg over the top like that.
Yeah.
Bring that leg into there. And that's
it.
Is it. An inch around your skirts.
Bob's your uncle.
Well, on the left-hand side of the saddle, there are 2 pommels, so. And your right leg crooks over the top one, and the left one tucks in underneath this one, which is the leaping head, and that's what holds you in your saddle when you're jumping.
So how does it feel, Rachel?
Very comfortable. Surprisingly comfortable.
Yeah.
And do you grip the pommel between your knees?
Basically, squeeze your legs together and you'll be very, very nicely gripped on.
Come on. This is very Downton. It's very Lady Mary, this. Isn't it? I couldn't help feeling rather queenly while perching on top of Henry. I could see why Becca and Sean were fascinated by the dress and customs of a golden age of riding. But I didn't quite believe you could divorce it from all its connotations of female subjugation.
I'm sure the weather will hold and you'll be able to return without delay. Goodbye. Bye, Goodbye.
So much of what it meant to be a lady seemed to be wrapped up in notions of control and restraint, with a dollop of sexual prudery.